Your happiest memory.
It's always with people I love.
Your dream job as a kid.
Actually working with people. I always knew I would work with people. It was always with people.
One leader you admire and why?
I always come back to Martin Luther King because I do think he had the biggest challenge to articulate a dream. I don't think the world was with him, and yet he maybe was the key person of the 20th century. And I always come back to his words. He inspires me.
What message does your older, wiser self have for your 21-year-old self?
It's going to be much better than you could possibly know.
How would you want to be remembered, Dorothy?
I want to believe I made a difference in the world. Truly. I want to believe that I brought value and I made a difference.
The greatest challenge to leadership today?
Actually, it's more the human connection and difference rather than it is a financial statement. The financial statement is where we get judged, but it's the human challenge that companies will be known for.
The best advice you ever got?
Trust yourself.
The biggest risk you've ever taken?
It's always speaking in front of a large, I don't mean just 100 people, I mean 1,000 people. Still something that makes my heart go, can I?
Your wildest aspiration?
I think the global work is actually very wild for me and also very thrilling. And I'm always amazed that speaking to a group very different than me is the most exciting, most human thing I can do.
Your biggest fear?
I say this with compassion for anybody going through a health challenge, but when I watched my mother being ill, I knew that loss of consciousness is the most frightening thing. To stay conscious is really a blessing.
Your weakness or your kryptonite?
Saying yes when I should have said no.
Habits that have contributed to your success?
Interestingly, I think joyfulness has really been something. When I can experience joy with people, I know it's because I'm trusting myself, I'm trusting the moment, and I'm trusting that what I'm bringing is of value. The joyful optimism and also clarity in the moment. I used to worry that I had to have huge things to say, and now I know if I have one thing to say in the right moment, the hugeness will take care of itself.
Your favorite holiday destination?
Well, anywhere that has water and people.
How do you replenish yourself?
Nature is a wonderful thing, and just walking outside. And I notice that just even looking at people I'm an extrovert. So I just even like to walk down the street and I just notice that the diversity of humanity is very exciting to me.
One book that has had a significant impact on you?
I have always loved anything by Milan Kundera, and I found his book, The Unbearable Lightness of Being, somehow very profound. It was about how important connection is. Freedom is not necessarily desirable. But attachment means everything.
Now I'm going to call out a word and you tell me what that word means to you in one sentence. Leadership.
Strength and love.
Coach.
Partnership.
Wisdom.
Humility.
Success.
Surprise.
Happiness.
Happiness.
Dreams.
Essential.
Legacy.
Enduring.
Passion.
Life.
Retirement.
When?
Money.
Nice.
Education.
Critical.
And very last question, Dorothy. Throughout your journey, what would you say is that lesson that you take away as the biggest lesson?
There is a word that I always come back to, and the word is called generativity. It was introduced by Erik Erikson, who was a wonderful psychologist of the 20th century. And generativity is the capacity to give back to your community, to share. And I think this call is, for me, kind of a little bit of an example of if we have stewardess, if we have leadership, then our honor is to give back, to share. I'm often reminded that when we have food, we're really blessed if we can share it with others. The idea is not to eat everything. So it is to share with others. And leadership is about sharing the wealth, sharing the wisdom, sharing the inspiration. And if there's anything that we need to do now, particularly from this last year and a half of challenge, is learn to spread the wealth around.